மொத்த குடும்பம் மாப்பிள மாதிரி ரெடியா வர இந்த கல்யாணம் ராம்ராஜ் கல்யாணம்.
Your dream plot awaits for you at OMR, ECR and GST with Nama Family Group.
South India's #1 travel brand. You know you are special when you're with GT Holidays.
Hello guys, welcome to Galatta Plus. All the best for Thandel.
Thank you.
Thanks to you, I learnt a new word.
Thandel.
Yeah, it's like I don't think anybody knew what it meant.
Right.
So, but first, why does he call you a director in the form of an actor?
Who?
He.
When did I say
When?
that?
You said that recently.
I did. It's not only me, a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
if,
a compliment.
No,
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. I'm
Okay.
saying it in a nice way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
so
they
she's
feel
dictatorial.
No, I
No.
won't say that.
Okay.
I'll tell you where that came from. I think there was this one instance where she called me up one day and she wanted to talk to me about a scene that she was not in, about my scene, and she just wanted to ask me how I was going to play it and just get a sense of that. So from there I started teasing her that, but since we already worked on a film love story together, we have that. I think we just have that ease. We get into a conversational banter here and there on what's happening and if we think the film is coming out well or not well. So I just tease her that way, more of that sense.
But I think it's because I know my character quite well, and sometimes you think, if she would do this, she wouldn't do that. So that time, I think they end up thinking, oh, okay, she is speaking like a director. No, I'm just speaking as a character, that's all.
Right, but you guys know each other personally and you've worked on a film together. Now you're working on this different dimension of a film. So in a shot, I mean, forgive me if this is a dumb question, but when you're giving a shot, right? Now acting is pretending, but is it truly impossible, or rather, is it truly possible to forget that, hey, I'm opposite Che, or hey, I'm opposite Pallavi, and like, does that erasure completely happen?
I would say during Love Story, that sense was still there. For me, at least, in the initial few days of working. But with this film, the lines have been clearly sort of defined. In front of the camera, it's about the characters. So that inhibition, that has gone away completely.
That has gone away.
Yeah, I would say, with this film.
You're going to
sure.
give me this, like, I only see the character or something like that. Right?
I'm not kidding. When I did Love Story, all I can do is, I told you, everything goes blurry. I do the scene and I first look for Shekhar Garu's expression, whether he's okay or not, yes or no.
Yeah.
I immediately look at him, whether he's call cut, and I'll immediately look at his face because I'll see whether it's worked or not. And for our film, and even before when we were rehearsing and all of that, maybe it's because I'm used to him. I never had that thing that we were acting together. It's Chaitanya, nothing. It just felt like an extension of your body, that's all.
Right.
So it didn't feel like we were, it was Chaitanya. It just felt like I'm with another clay that I was molding, and I assume that even he felt that way. He was molding me to how it worked, that's
I
all.
think she just called you Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can go back to the director, how she is the director for everyone.
No.
You meant it in a good way, I
In
know
a
that.
good
yes,
way,
yeah.
like we both are able to complement each other.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, because you've worked with many actors, you worked with many actors, what does she bring to the table in terms of your acting, and what does he bring to the table in terms of your acting? Are you able to?
Less resistance, and he is very plain, and he is very pure. You put a thought in him, he lets it grow, and he sees how it works organically in him, and it helps the actor. For me, sometimes when I say, can we do this, can we do that, it's not a first yes or a no. He tries it out, and then I see that he lets it grow. So it's a nice thing. There's no resistance immediately.
That's nice.
It's probably one of the best compliments you ever got.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
No, I keep saying this in many interviews and at every opportunity I get. The kind of energy she gives me on screen, and especially even the previous film and this film, both are love stories, where I sort of really expect that energy from my co-actors to bring about that chemistry or that vibrancy on screen. And with Pallavi, she's so clear about the character. There's no confusion in her head when she's playing the character, so that consistency is there. So as the film is growing and as the shooting is progressing, I get to really build on the character well, and whatever notes I've made are reflecting really well because she's so transparent about the character.
Right.
And the main thing is that consistency. Whenever the camera rolls, you see the same nuances and you see everything hit on the spot. So that really helps. That energy really works, and I think it complements my performance in so many ways.
nice.
Yeah.
when you have a movie like, you've had a series of films where your performance has been appreciated. The last one being Amaran, where everybody's like, oh, she's going to get the national award, this, that, all that kind of stuff is happening. Uh, does it place a pressure on you that, oh my God, I should up my game in the next movie? Or is there some kind of, or do you just not let it affect you at all?
Okay, what I'm going to say is going to sound very funny, maybe. Uh, I always wanted a national award because when I was around 21 years old, my granny gave me a sari. And she said, wear this for your wedding. And that time she was very sick. She underwent a surgery. So that time I thought marriage was next in cards. That time I hadn't done my first film yet. And as I was nearing 23, 24, I did Premam. Then I thought, okay, someday I'll win some big award. That time National Award was the big award. I said, when I win that award, I'll wear the sari. So for me, National Award is directly like connected to the sari thing. So whether I hope for it or the pressure is there is just only until I wear that sari maybe. But honestly, the characters that I do and the appreciation, if people are able to feel the pain, empathy, if they're able to feel everything that the character on screen is able to feel, I think that is my job and that's enough. That itself is a huge appreciation.
That's the reward.
Yes, and whatever comes after that is just a bonus where you feel good about it. But I don't know whether this is bigger or that is bigger. I feel this, I value this a little more than that.
When you got to know him a little better, did you ask him, why didn't you cast me in Premam?
Come on, you can't put that on me. She should be asking Chandu, the same director of Premam and Thandel. She should be asking him.
No, I wouldn't ask him that because he'll be very upset. He'll say, I asked you, you said you won't do a remake.
You did that.
No, and I told him, I said, it's very scary because even if, say, Alphonse and I and Naveen had to redo this, I don't know if we can create the same moments again because it just happened, we just captured it. So it was hard for us to do it. So I said, it's too much pressure for you to expect me to do the same thing that I did again and I don't want to lose the charm that once existed. So I was very clear and I said that. He said, okay, fair.
But do you believe in something called destiny? Because, Premam landed on your lap because Alphonse tried to reach Asin.
No.
And that story is there, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
and he couldn't reach her. I don't know how somebody says, I can't reach this actor, but he says he couldn't reach her. And so the part that you'd written in Malayalam, he rewrote in Tamil, and then it came to you.
Yeah.
And is there something there, universe, destiny? Do you
I don't know. I know that I was meant to do films because I see it influencing my personal life and my thoughts also a lot. It doesn't just stop with movies. It's just not that I go for work and I come back. It has a huge role in my psyche. So in that way, I think that I was meant to be here and go through this process, feel every bit of what it is to do, what it is to be in front of camera and off camera. So those are moments and emotions and things that you can never define. Or even if some actor came and told you when you were a nobody, when you're not in front of limelight, if they came and explained this, I would just like diss them. I'll be like, what are you even saying? So now I'm able to see life in a very different way. And that's interesting.
Nice. Interesting is a very minor word. And it sounds like whatever. But, this film required you to do a lot of things that you haven't done earlier, right?
Yeah.
It's like I heard that you went and spent a lot of time mid-sea shooting there.
Right.
And then at the Wagah border and desert and all kinds of things. As a character, I mean, these are all the physical things, right? But what did you have to unlearn for you to be this person?
When Chandu first narrated, just the idea, saying because it's based on true events and, certain episodes that happened in their life. When I heard it, obviously I was charged as an actor. He's saying we're going to be in the ocean, there's this storm sequence, then this Pakistan jail they're caught in. So it's like, wow, there's so much opportunity for me. But after that is when we actually went to Srikakulam, where the fisherman family are from, on which the story is based on. And I got to experience their lives. And also the love story that the actual couple, the moments they had, like small instances like, when they're out in the ocean for almost 31 days, there's no phone contact, nothing. And when they were stuck in jail, they were only communicating through letters and it would take 3 months for the letter to go up and down. So all these moments really inspired me, and more than that, the challenges they face. If we look at it from a broader lens, it's unbelievable, it's extraordinary. But for them, it's a very normal thing which they get past every day. So it was a very humbling experience for me in a way to actually spend time with them and look at all of that, and actually feel the texture of their lives, which in a way inspired me.
You saw the letters?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We saw all the letters. They cooked meals for us. It like just went through all the normal activities that they go through, and it inspired me in so many ways. And I think that was sort of the trigger for me to actually start building on this character. I got a lot of clarity after that trip, after spending about 4-5 days with them, and then coming back to Hyderabad. That's what really motivated me to go forward and design Thandel Raju.
Oh, Thandel Raju is his.
My name is Raju. They call me Thandel Raju.
Because the thing. And so, did you know the word before this movie?
But it was a different context. That Thandel Karan.
Oh, that's what it is.
So I had only heard that word. So I asked them if it was the same. They said it's pretty much the same.
She's like just, you've said in many interviews that you are drawn to characters with a lot of pain or roles with a lot of pain. Why is that? I mean, you say that, but you don't explain why.
He's happy with this question.
Because even I'm curious, I want to know. It's actually, when I think about it, a lot of the characters she's done are so deep.
Even in Amari too, which is technically an entertainer, she dies.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? You just sing Rowdy Baby, next scene you're dead. I'm like, what? It's just kind of,
No, but for those films, it's more like in a commercial space whether you have
I know,
room
but I'm kidding.
and
But I'm generally speaking,
you got to die to make a mark over there.
Yeah, there's Gargi, there's Amaran.
Amaran,
there's there's so much.
I actually don't know. Maybe I haven't given it a lot of thought, but maybe I understand the language better. I'm able to understand what they go through, and I don't look at the script as a script and a character that's fictitious. I look at it as real life, and I try to empathize. And if I'm able to get that right, I go ahead and do it. It makes it very clear. I feel like that makes me and the character become one, and I'm able to go full out. But sometimes when I've read, say, comedy scripts which had a lot more humor, they're not the humor that I understand or can do. It's more like the slapstick, the comedy that's on your face. And I don't know if I've not done that, so I don't know. And I think it takes a leap of faith where you trust the director and you know that it's going to land. Otherwise, it's just going to be a series of jokes that don't land. And
so, are you saying by default, because you're scared of comedy, you do like painful drama?
No, I'm able to, I don't put a lot of pressure on the director when it comes to performing these, because I completely understand. I understand I am the character after a while.
We need to have a bigger interview.
Do you want me to cut it short? Am I taking too much time?
No, I'm saying like longer. We don't have much time here, so
See, that's
we need to talk about that.
Okay, we'll come back to this question maybe later.
Yeah. Recently, Shahid Kapoor said this, that, when he acted with his dad or with his brother, when he found something very odd when he was acting with family now.
Right.
Now, Bangar Raju, you acted with your father, Venki Mama, with their uncle.
Yeah.
When you're in that space, is there an oddness?
Yeah, there is. Absolutely.
Why? Why is that?
Because I feel you spend so much time with them, off screen, and I've literally grown up in front of their eyes, and there's so much conditioning that has happened through the years, with them, like through parenting and through the different phases of life growing up, that somewhere all that memory is there in me, So when I sense their energy, automatically you're putting on the son or you're putting on the nephew, and that's what you're trying to be. You're treating them with respect, and all this kicks in. So for me, suddenly, just to cut out all these years and years of layering, it takes me time. I experienced it a lot when I did Manam, and then of course in Venki Mama, because that was the first time I was acting with Venkatesh Garu. So yeah, in Bangar Raju I'd sort of overcome that with Dad.
Okay.
I learned the practice on how to sort of differentiate both the roles. So it was much better with Bangar Raju.
What's the trick?
I think it's just experience,
Getting used to it?
Yeah, just getting used to it more than anything else.
We just spoke about you haven't done comedy that much and all that. Do you think there's a certain, and the fact that you're a very good actor, do you think these two combined to say, whenever there is this big, heavy role with lots of emotions, you automatically become the first choice?
I don't think so, but,
No, but when I say first choice, I mean like you become a natural candidate for that role.
I feel that there are a lot of roles existing that way, but maybe you're able to feel it that much when I perform because I actually feel the pain. And sometimes it's traumatizing, but sometimes I just go back to that pain. I don't know why. There's some joy in experiencing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying experiencing their pain. There's some joy or some sort of liberation that I feel when I'm letting that pain out of me. So I wouldn't say that I'm the choice. Maybe there are many films which have such characters, but maybe you're able to see me or the characters that I with a lot more pain and heaviness because I feel it. I actually feel it in my system. Like physiologically, I feel it. So that is why
It's
maybe.
a kind of catharsis, it feels like when you say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It does. It feels that way. I think the first experience that I had that way was, it's different with Mari and all that, but physiologically I could feel for Pavakadegal. And post that it just became some sort of an addiction where you look for characters which make you feel everything in your system.
Oh my God,
So.
you need your pain fix. This is what
No,
it is.
but I am a very happy child. I like watching, say, Julia Roberts films and I like doing all those. But sometimes my way of looking at comedy and, say, lighter films are very different. I don't know whether they exist or maybe they don't come to me. The film, from the lot that I get, I try to choose what I'm able to connect with. That is all.
Right. Now, you've just done, or rather, I don't know what you did in between, but the last film release of yours was Amaran, which is again about a woman, in a sense, separated from her loved one. And you're kind of repeating the broad arc of that in this. What's different in this?
I'm not just saying that you got to watch the film, but
No, no,
the
I will watch
reasons,
the film. I'm a critic, I have to. So,
be kind.
I've always been nice to you.
I know, you have. Thank you for that. But in this, it's different. They've always, like how it's with army when they are away. I think there I played a real life woman. Here I am, but then we've taken a lot of liberty to show their love and how their relationship, few things that they do to make their life livable in his absence and something like that. Few things, and the time that he's lost in sea and he's gone, I don't feel that bad.
You don't feel that bad as
I
in?
don't feel that bad. You can see it on my face. That's why I said you got to watch the film, and I'm so scared. I don't know if I said
This is
something
very
that I
intriguing.
shouldn't.
Yeah, I know. I think even he's not prepared for these answers.
No, he's scared now. He's looking for the producer. Got it. She's saying more than she should.
Well, how do you handle it when you enter a zone where you kind of have already been in that zone? Do you say, I don't want to do that role? Or do you say, okay, give me that one thing that is going to make this love story a little different from that love story?
Yeah, I think it's the later. Like you had asked her before also about how, there's pain in a lot of the roles she's taking up. I think me also as an actor, there are phases in our lives, that we automatically gravitate to certain kind of textures. So for me, love stories are something that I really like being a part of. So obviously every love story is different in a way, but the core emotion is love. So I definitely try to insist and see how I can change and definitely sort of contrast from my previous film as much as possible. Body language, the character design, and every character has a different seed, a different deep-rooted emotion. So I try to focus on that and pick up working points from that.
For you, since Josh, it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
And for you, it's been 10 years since Premam. So that's like some nice little anniversary celebration you can have. But if you were both to pick one word to describe your journey, what would that be?
Go first.
Enlightening. I would say enlightening.
Okay. Your characters teach you something.
They do. Characters, people you work with, people around you and how the world perceives you and how you look at the world, and a lot of things change. How you're just nothing. Actually, after getting here, you just realize that maybe sometime the bigger interview, that time we might have more. So you just enlightened. A lot of things seem to feel very, I can't say ordinary, but you know that the amount of glam that it looks in the outside, it's not that way. It's as simple, all simple, just doing art. Art exists. We're just there passing by and then we're gone. So shouldn't take a lot of pressure. I'm just saying it, but then I take a lot of pressure. He knows that he's going to laugh if I say no. I go crazy. But I think that's something that I've seen and realized, but I've got to put it in practice. So that's why I said enlightening, and I've got to practice that.
I would say it's been progressive in a way. There's been a lot of learning that's happened. In fact, the recent times, a lot more learning. I'm still not 100% satisfied. I think there's so much more to do. I'm still waiting for that one release which sort of gives me that satisfaction, but that doesn't mean I'll stop, I want to still stay hungry. I want to keep growing. So I don't know. I can't put it in one word,
Right.
but it's been I don't know, for lack of a better word, interesting.
But when you say satisfied, what do you mean? With your performance or with the entire package? the
Yeah,
film?
meaning like films that have done well. Like there's always been something after the film is released that I look at it and like, no, we could have done this better or we could have done it differently.
But there is no such thing as perfection, right? It's
Yeah,
like-
maybe I want to taste that. I want to taste, what is that perfection? I hear a lot of people talk about it, like when some films release, they say this is a masterpiece or the performance was bang on. I want to still taste that.
Have you tasted perfection?
No.
You're never happy.
I think I'm never happy until it releases. Once it releases, if I see that the needed emotion is being conveyed, then I'm okay.
Right.
I won't sit and grade myself, because for acting you don't have a scale, no?
Yeah.
So it's only how people perceive you. If you're able to get the notes right, then I think you've done the job. But then again, the next film, until the release, you're just crazy, thinking, oh, why did I do what I did? And you hope for a reshoot.
That's the mood you're
Yeah.
in right now. Is that the mood you're in as well?
What, like, why?
If
Thandel.
we are in the mood right now, if we are in that mood right now.
As in what,
I am.
like?
As in, like, she's saying, I don't know, until it releases, I'm going crazy. That's what she's saying. So
No, I'm not in that extreme.
you're a little more zen.
Yeah, I'm a little more, because it's like I've given it my all and we've finished shooting. It's on the edit. It's getting locked. The mixing is going on. So,
He's actually a very cool person.
right now the job is done. We have to just wait
Nothing
and
to
watch.
do.
Yeah, nothing to do
Yeah.
apart from promote and wait and see how the audience likes it.
Yeah. When both of you get a script, do you say, the first thing that says is this a good story? Or do you say, is this a good role for me?
I would say this is a good story. I look at probably the totality
The
of it.
holistic
yeah, holistically before I sort of dig into my character. And
Right.
that, because for me, a film works on if everything comes together. It's only not one character that can drive the success of the film or reach the audience. So yeah, for me the holistic approach is definitely the priority versus my character.
Right.
Yeah.
But the reason I ask is also because, like, supposing you get a never before kind of character, but you know that the story has certain whatever it is, but that character is going to allow you to go into places you've never gone before, and this may be the chance to try it out. Would you do that?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I haven't been in that situation, but yeah, maybe I would do that.
What about you?
Previously, I used to feel that script is very important and then the director will do it. Now I've become more like, along with the script, the director and his vision is very important, otherwise it's different. So I think the number of things that I look at to sign, it differs over time.
Yeah, the number of roles of big films you've rejected is legendary.
You don't say that.
No, it's like
It is a legendary.
yeah, it's legendary.
Don't say that.
Seriously, that it's
Oh
it's
my
like it's a
God.
list of some major blockbusters of the past few years. You heard the list, right?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
telling
yeah.
it now. So that's kind of
No, I'm sure they're great films. They've done really well. But
They were not
sometimes,
your...
sometimes if you don't connect, you shouldn't take another person's opportunity. Someone else might have performed better. Just because I'm not in sync and I don't give my 100% doesn't mean I should just take it because it's mine.
Yeah.
So in that way, I've not gone behind something that I didn't feel was mine. But lately, it's starting to become very thin, where I feel a lot of things like script, the director's vision, what kind of a film they want it to be, all that plays in your mind. Because at the end of the day, the director is the one who makes you and your film. What you sell as a person is just in the interviews and how people see you outside. Other than that, I think people are here to only watch your movies. And if the film does well, it's because of the director's vision and how he's done it. So I'm completely dependent on the director and his vision, and so from script to the director to everything, now it's a lot of learning.
Yeah, but why are you smiling when you say that? You're saying a very interesting and serious thing.
I don't know. Am I smiling?
Yeah, because it was almost like, okay, listen, I gave you the right answer. I don't know why I thought it was a little.
Oh
odd
my
that you were
God.
smiling
No.
back.
I don't know. I don't know what I did. I just smiled.
I'm just this thing. So, this is a very unique role that you're playing, Sita and Ramayana. And don't worry, I'm not going to ask you any spoilery things.
No,
So
I'm
it's
sure, I'm
like,
sure.
but you know, when that kind of a role comes by, it's a slightly terrifying thing, right? Because it's like super iconic, not even iconic. It's like somewhere,
I know,
in the
I know.
skies.
Yeah,
You have to like represent the purest of the whatever. You know, it's almost because they're gods, right? You're human. You can't say flaws or whatever.
Correct, yeah.
What did it take for you to say yes to such a character? Because I can understand these are all difficult characters. They go through a lot of pain. You connect with them at some level. Was it an easy decision to say yes to that, or did you have to really think about that?
I didn't think about it much because I had a very selfish reason to say yes. Every character I've done, they leave they imprint, they leave a part of them in me. And if you, from the previous conversations or the times that we've spoken, I've always searched for something.
Yeah.
Say there's something else that's there and meaning for why a few things are the way they are. So I'm thinking, okay, when I play the character, I'll have maybe a little more answer. Playing such a pious and say playing a goddess you should be able to feel something by the end of the process. So I'm trying to see if I can figure that out.
Nice. You say that you like playing love stories, but is there any one particular film where you feel that character is really close to me? That's really who I am in real life.
From my own films, I would say in a way, in Thandel, Raju's character, someone who sort of puts everyone else's priority before him, before he saves himself, or because he's the leader in a way. I'm not saying that, but I sort of see some similarities to his character. I would definitely see some kind of traits in terms of probably protecting people I like, or vouching for someone I really trust for, and putting my life before to save like a family or a friend or someone. So certain things I do see in Raju's character that
Nice.
I can sort of pick up and connect to my real life.
You got into a bit of controversy when that whole Kashmir Files thing happened. The controversy I'm not talking because everything becomes a controversy, right? He could just say anything and it could become a controversy. But I was like very curious about your need to address that because social media erupts with something every day and it dies down the next day and then they find a new thing to think and it will be like, why did you feel the need that I have to go and give a clarification for this?
Whether I like it or not, I just hate hurting people. And I wouldn't call it a people-pleasing tactic. It's just that you just don't want to hurt people, even if it's unknowing or unintentional. And so I wanted to clarify, saying this is what I had meant and it was in a different language. And I think that was important because if people had felt bad based on what they had heard or what it had turned out to be or misinterpreted over time, I wouldn't want them to think that this is what people had spoken about, what they had gone through in life. I wanted to give a clarification for what I even spoke at that point of time. So I think it is important that as a human being, it's just not that you're an actor, you can say stuff. I wanted to say that this is what I meant, things are taken out of hand, and this is how I'm going to react. So what I said came from a place of love and non-violent intentions. So that is all I'm going to say. And I think that was important, that I got across instead of a lot more things that it was supposed to be. Yeah.
You've been through a lot of social media storms, right?
Right.
How do you do you even look at it? Do you let it affect? How do you
See,
do people bring it to your attention?
the initial days, yes, I was affected by it. The question is why, I mean, everyone's leading their life, everyone's going about with their paths. Why is everyone intruding so much? I mean, the social media noise. But after a point, I started ignoring it, and I didn't feel I need to come and respond to everything, because what I've sort of observed is when you come out and give a clarification, that clarification sort of loops into something else.
That's exactly where I was, because
It keeps looping, that becomes the headline, and someone else picks up that headline and makes it theirs, and it just goes on. It's a vicious cycle. So initially I tried to come out and put out, a full stop in my own way, but I found that there was never a full stop. It's the people who are on social media commenting, it's them who need to put a full stop. And no matter how much an actor comes out, or, celebrities, we come out and speak, it just becomes entertainment for a certain section of the people. So, yeah, for me now, I've sort of figured out that art or some trick to keep that aside. And I always feel, end of the day, your work will talk. When you have a good film, when you play roles that influence people in the right way, those will stand out no matter what. So, just staying patient and working towards that.
No, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but there was a conversation we had during the filming of the film of Thandel, and he said it, because I was affected few days before Amaran, it again came up. So I was just...
the same issue.
The same issue, which had already died down 2 years ago. They somehow took few clips again and recirculated it. So I was wondering how this could even happen again. I thought it was done. And then he said, no, there are a few things that you need to know. It's just not an organic thing. It's been done by somebody. And I don't think you should even get into something like this. You love arts, you should just have to immerse yourself in it and let this stay.
Yeah.
So that was very good advice. And after that, you're able to clearly see that it's not the same audience, because everybody turned up for the theatres. They came and watched the film. It's what it is right now because of them coming and liking the film for what it is and not what I was fearing. And so that gave me a lot of strength in what he said. So.
Yeah. So, how would you approach a role that's completely not who you are? Like, supposing I gave you the role of someone who's a bad dancer. Like,
I'd love to do it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, be a bad dancer?
Yes.
Right.
So I kept asking Director Rajkumar when we had that ramp walk thing. I asked him, should I be like a bad dancer somewhere? Should I do something bad? Should I be a bad dancer? He said, no. Indu had actually done this. Let's stick to this. Let's not move away. Because I was actually dying thinking that there was one opportunity for us to be not like the actress where you put the spotlight. She's good at dancing. She somehow is talented where, this main lead has everything that's perfect in her. What if she had a flaw? And I thought we could experiment over there, but he said, not here.
But for you, it's like, matching steps in terms of that mega song, that Shivratri song.
Yeah.
What was that?
Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah. Because I just had to see that, because you did well.
Yeah, you think so? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like, because I was looking at you, because
Right.
I knew that's going to be, like, she's been dancing all her
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
right? It's
absolutely.
Like, I mean, at least as long as we've been seeing her on screen.
Yeah,
What was
absolutely.
it like that for you?
No, I think for me the shocker was during Love Story, in fact, when Shekhar sir told me I'm a Zumba instructor, and then, there's this sequence with her. So that was a shocker. So that happened, that journey happened, and, I did gather some confidence after that. So coming to the Shivratri song, Pallavi's always been very patient with me, when it comes to the dance. And she's so nice that she breaks down the steps to me. She'll take me aside and say, don't tell the dance master I'm telling you all this, but this is how you do it. So she'll give
But
me
now
like...
the dance master knows.
So she'll give me all these hacks, behind the camera. So that way, she's an amazing sport doing it. And jokes apart, it has pushed me to, sort of work on dancing. And it has given me that confidence, I would say, dancing with her. It has given me that confidence to take on these songs that demand heavy choreography. So yeah. It's,
Nice. We just said 10, 15 years, 10 years. Is there anything you'd have done differently? Given the chance to redo these 15 years, 10 years?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Every bit of the journey has been the way you
No.
wanted it.
Yeah.
yeah, I would have read a lot. Not a lot, but there are some things I wish I had done differently. No regrets as such looking back, but these are just outcomes of me introspecting and learning from the mistakes I've made. So yeah, there are definitely things I would have liked to do differently.
In terms of acting, or?
Yeah, in terms of the way I approach certain characters, or I think more my script decisions, certain decisions I made on scripts. Looking back, yeah, I would have done things differently.
Now, I just want to ask you this last question, and please feel free to chip in. She said that she's a big reader and you like reading spiritual books, like, or especially thinkers like Jiddu Krishnamurti, right?
Yeah.
Tell me one thing that has stayed with you. I'm sure many, many things have stayed with you, but among the many things that he said, something that really, really stayed with you so that we can take that thought back home.
Something about memory, where he says that memory is the biggest disease that a person has. Once you have a memory of something nice, you always try to recreate, you try to run towards that, but a child doesn't. It forgets or it doesn't remember. So everything that it gets has a very fresh feeling towards it, where it enjoys it or it suffers that minute. It doesn't keep it in its memory. So I like that phrase, or that's the first thing that came to my mind
but
right now.
That's very true, because I'm also thinking that it relates to you as an actor, because there's a lot of memory involved in acting, this
Yeah.
kind of thing. So is she always this philosophical?
Yeah, she is. In fact, I pick up a lot of these. She doesn't quote things as such to me, but in a lot of her conversations, there is a depth and there is a layering of this, which
No,
is
but I don't know
inspiring.
why. I just feel sometimes I only speak that way. But people whom I interact with, they live it's like it's a given. This is how it is, no? Isn't it not that way? So I feel like I got to read, I got to do all this and feel like, okay, I've picked something up, I've got to put it in practice. But a lot of people think it's second nature. Isn't this how you look at life? Isn't this what you do? And then I think, hey.
No, but I think that's what's
It's not
humbling
fair.
about a lot of stuff, because sometimes I'll read a self-help book which everybody has recommended, and I'll be like, really? That's all? I mean, like, it's practice gratitude, something like some very basic stuff, right?
Yeah.
But to others, it would be like, oh, okay, that's an interesting thing.
Right.
So I guess
Yeah.
that's where people differ, in terms
Yeah.
of.
But also a lot of the times, since you said these self-help books, when you read them, it sounds simple, but it's actually, are we implementing it?
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
we sort
yeah.
of exercising it? That's
Yeah.
something that I question many of the times when I read something thought-provoking like
But
this.
do you read a lot of self-help
A little
books?
bit. I mean, I had that phase, I think through COVID, wanted to pick up the habit of reading. So I went through that phase, and now I'm back to my consuming visual content.
Thank you so much, and all the best for Thandel.
Thank you.
Really look forward to this, because I had the pleasure of speaking to Allu Arvind Garu before this, and he painted a very nice picture of it. And now talking to you both, I think it's fingers crossed.
I hope you like
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, do
Thank you.
watch it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
மொத்த குடும்பம் மாப்பிள மாதிரி ரெடியாகிற இந்த கல்யாணம் ராம்ராஜ் கல்யாணம்.
Your dream plot awaits for you at OMR, ECR, and GST with Nama Family Group.
South India's #1 travel brand. You know you are special when you're with GT Holidays.